We don't have an intro to this podcast. Maybe we'll have one later.
And we're back. Hope
Yes,
you didn't miss us, but if you did, we're back.
yes. And I had trouble with technical difficulties for the past hour, and now I'm tired.
And
But
I've
still good.
had sleep difficulties for the whole week, and I'm tired.
But anyways, we are back. We are film
Krew.
crew,
He's Quan.
and he is Gaspar.
Yes, sir. And today we're going to be talking about some educational books.
We're
No,
talking about
we're not.
books. Very interesting.
We're going to be talking about book to film adaptations
Yes.
and what are your favorites and what are our favorites and what are recommendations and whatnot. But first,
Yes.
we talked about the video games.
Oh yeah.
I think a few episodes back, a
Yeah.
couple episodes back. Mortal Kombat trailer. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't. I'm not looking forward to a Mortal Kombat movie because there's still like vomit taste in my mouth right now from the stupid ones. So I'm not looking forward to
Well,
it.
to get that vomit taste
No.
out of my mouth, I am looking forward to this, and this trailer was pretty dope.
Oh really?
You had pretty much every iconic character
Oh yep.
from the first Mortal Kombat game,
All right.
minus Johnny Cage,
Huh.
which I'm a little upset about, but
Yeah.
we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Maybe
It looks fun. You got some pretty cool scenes with Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Okay.
It seems like they're gonna try and make Sub-Zero like the secondary bad guy,
Oh.
like under Shang Tsung.
All right.
And they have that new character that we're gonna follow. He seems pretty cool. You got a CGI Goro this time, opposed to the
Puppet.
that yeah. Looks pretty cool. Looks fun. There's a new Pixar movie getting released soon, this year maybe. It's called Luca,
Okay.
and it's gonna be an Italian story. But I think from what I read before, it gets its inspiration from the movie Ponyo, that Japanese.
Yeah.
Is that Japanese animated movie
Okay.
where it's like a water thing trying to be human?
Oh no, I know what you're talking
It seems like this is what that's what it's gonna be. They're like mermaid people trying to blend in with real or with humans.
Okay.
And it looks cool. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was there anything else? There is a teaser trailer for a movie called Army of the Dead,
Oh, okay.
and it's going to be directed by Zack Snyder.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did a little bit of research and found out that Zack Snyder's director debut was Dawn of the Dead. Back in, 2004? The remake of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
And ever since then, he kind of just, his filmmaking has progressed big time. So
Nice.
I'm looking forward to, what his first zombie movie is, and now his newest zombie movie is, because
Yeah.
everything in between has been superhero stuff and I think like 300 and stuff like that. So
Okay. Well, that's cool.
so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, we're not really talking about Zack Snyder today.
No, we're not.
We're talking about books.
Books, adaptations, and not Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Never Game of Thrones.
What is Game of Thrones?
Uh,
Or how
what is?
the better question is, what is season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones?
I don't know.
Because you got to stop watching
Yeah.
after 6,
Yeah.
and then I mean, hopefully, George R. R. Martin finishes the book and we get a real ending. But
Yeah.
I doubt that's going to happen.
I think there's another vomit taste in 7 and 8. I don't think he wants to even finish it. He just wants to look away from it.
Did you ever try and read those books?
I tried going through the first book, and then I started watching Game of Thrones, and then I kind of got like bored of it, and then I stopped watching it.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of fantasy and like Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, and all that. And yeah, I couldn't get into the books. The show is fantastic for the first 6 seasons, but
yeah,
I don't know. Something about
it's a
those
lot.
books, I just, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But on our Instagram, we did ask you guys, what are your guys' favorite adaptations? And we got some what
Interesting.
different answers?
Yeah.
Very different answers. Some that I don't think either of us were expecting.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of go. We did 2 rounds, back to back days.
Yeah.
We'll go to. Let's see. We could talk about. Hmm. Someone chose Twilight.
Well, I'm not sure. Okay.
I got a
Yeah.
we got a message after on our Instagram saying that it was more kind of like a somewhat of a joke,
Oh, okay.
and they actually said Lord of the Rings was their favorite. So they
I
someone else threw in Lord of the Rings, and then they messaged saying, "You know what? This is actually my favorite." I don't know if they were kidding or what they were
yeah.
trying to do, but Twilight. I don't remember the movies, and I never read the books.
I
So
I I barely remember the first movie because that's all I watched, and I completely forgot the books were a thing. So Lord of the Rings is a good one though.
um,
It is a good
Lord of
one.
the Rings is fantastic. Uh, Same thing. I don't think I've read the books of Lord of the Rings. I don't think I own them. I own The Hobbit,
Yeah.
but I've never read Lord of the Rings books. When it comes to the movies are
Great.
really
Yeah.
good. I still prefer the first Hobbit movie out of all 6 films. Is it
Yeah.
6 films?
Yeah.
It is 6 films, right?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, because The Hobbit technically shouldn't have been 3 films. It should have just been one.
Yeah. Um.
um,
Yeah.
go.
It's crazy interesting. Like that Lord of the Rings. I think they were talking about how they filmed all 3 movies back to back. Like I think they
Mm,
shot like the first part, like when they were at the Shire, and then the next thing they filmed was the ending scene of Return of the King. So the very last scene, and then they filmed other stuff. So they filmed it all together, and then they cut it to make their own individual
that
movies.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's really cool.
Also, they this was before drones, so it was all helicopter shots, which is also pretty crazy to me.
Yeah, like when they're running on the side of the mountain and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would say that movie is like monumental.
Yeah.
It's like a stamp in film history.
Yeah.
I mean, what they accomplished during, the years and with the technology they had to make a movie like that is pretty cool.
Yeah. The book was cool too. Tolkien fucking, if I'm not mistaken, Tolkien fucking wrote the books while he was in, I think he was in France in the trenches or something. So he
Yeah,
wrote most of
so
it.
there's actually a movie. There's a movie called I think it's just titled Tolkien, and it stars Nicholas Hoult as Tolkien.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's like the opening scene and stuff. And there's a scene where he's in the trenches and he sees like fire or something, and it's supposed to represent the eyeball,
Yeah.
Sauron, the eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
Um, didn't finish that movie, but I definitely I want to see it because it seems pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just going out of those 6 movies, I prefer The Hobbit and then the Lord of the Ring trilogy,
And then the other
and
two.
then the other two of The Hobbit.
I get it.
I think the first Lord of the Rings movie and The Hobbit kind of battle it out on top, though.
Yeah.
But moving on to another trilogy, we got The Hunger Games.
Okay.
And I think, what is it? The Hunger Games, Mockingjay,
Into the
and some
into the fire or something. Catching fire. Catching fire.
Catching Fire. Catching Fire is the second one, and Mockingjay is the third one.
I
Something
think
like
so.
that.
Yeah.
I've only seen the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
And I think I only read the first book. But
I was really into the first movie, and then I kind of forgot about it. I don't remember why. Just completely forgot it was a thing.
I think the movies are great.
Yeah, it's good. It is good.
They're really fun. The whole teenagers trying to kill each other to help out their part of the country, city,
Yeah.
world. I don't know what it's considered. District, right? District. I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of crazy that there's a possibility that can happen. That that a country can get split into districts and then have what do they call them? Tributes.
Yeah.
Go and try and kill each other to try and
It is interesting because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the lore is that there's like no more resources, so the country, the U.S. kind of doesn't realize, like, it shows that there aren't, like, they're like the only humans left because of all the resources being gone. And I guess it's weird, like, it's interesting that District 1 like holds all the power and everything, yet nobody really wonders if there is any life outside of the districts.
right.
And I would like to see if that is a thing, if like there are other people in other countries, because they do think that District 13's destroyed, but turns out there are people inside District 13. They're just underground.
Right.
But I don't know if they're gonna continue on the actual lore or not, or if they're gonna do other stuff.
Right. That story kind of reminds me of Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah.
It got
I get it.
what adapted into a TV show recently, but in 2014 maybe it was a movie with
Yeah.
Chris Evans about never a never stopping train with the same thing. Like each cart was like a part of civilization, with like the
Something.
very front card being like the top class, and then the very back the lowest class possible.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, another trilogy. Just kidding.
Trilogy.
Someone
That's
put
good.
Somebody put diary of a wimpy kid.
Oh, I remember that those
And
books.
um, I actually enjoy the movies. They're pretty funny. The
Nice.
the the actors that they got for the kids, they're pretty good. I never read the books,
Yeah.
so I'm just basing it off of the movie, and they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
What Riley and or Row is it Rowley? I don't know their names. But anyways, they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I don't have any really anything else to say about that one.
Yeah, I did see the Diary of the Wimpy Kids in like the elementary school when I was a kid, like the book fairs they had.
Yeah,
But I never picked them up, so I never really got interested in it. But I did hear the movies were pretty funny.
yeah. Very kid friendly, but at the same time has like the humor that like can make an adult laugh pretty
Yeah.
much. Um, Captain Underpants.
Okay.
uh, I did see that. I think it's a. I think it's a Netflix movie.
It was pretty
Um,
good. I liked it.
I gotta rewatch it because I don't remember it that well. But I remember the books as a kid.
Yeah.
Those things are pretty funny with the whole flipping.
Flipple-rama?
Yeah, and then like the whole story of Captain Underpants. Um, I like it. I like that. I like that choice.
Yeah, I actually it's interesting because I didn't pick up Diary of the Wimpy Kid, but I did pick up the Captain Underpants. The very
Well, it
first
seemed.
one.
I mean, the cover itself is just
Yeah,
really. It's a lot more fun.
yeah. I think I read them
Freaking
all.
grown man in his
Underpants,
in his underwear. Yeah.
and I don't remember how he
Um,
got his flying powers. I think it was like really like something so stupid happened, and then
isn't it isn't it that the kids just make him believe that he's a superhero, and
I
he just somehow gets those
I think the
powers?
first two books he didn't have flying powers, like he couldn't fly. So he was literally just some dude running around in his underwear. And then
Jeez.
the third book, something happened and he was able to fly. But it was something I don't remember what it was. Good book. I think I read all of those except for the last one, just because
Damn.
I was like 13 or something and I kind of got disinterested. We're back. All right. Technical difficulties.
And so we continue on with Ready Player One.
Oh, okay. I get it.
I think this is the newest movie on our list,
Yep.
and love the movie, love the book. When I heard about the movie getting announced and whatnot, I decided to buy the book and see what the book was about.
Right.
And the theory of the book being better than the movie or adaptation
Yeah.
is true with this one.
Really?
Way more detail, way better scenes, uh, a little more adult in the book than in the movie.
Okay.
Um, but the movie itself is really cool too. Like how they how they talk about like a world or a game that like kind of represents like the 80s, or
Yeah.
the story itself is like pretty 80s inspired, is pretty cool.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so what I decided to get the book and try and finish it before I want to go see the movie, and I did, and it was just awesome. I thought that's probably one of the only times where I decided to, go read the book before watching the movie.
All right.
I was just that intrigued with the story.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I don't remember reading the book, but I kind of remember watching the movie. I don't really have too much to say about it. I think I just liked it, and that was it. So.
Um. So, in that case, The Great Gatsby. I
Oh.
think we read that in high school. I think it might have been one of the required books to read,
Did we?
and I hope so. If not, I read that book for no reason.
Yeah.
um,
If that was the case, and we did read it, I guess I was a shitty student because I don't remember reading it at all.
it might have been a different class then. Um, yeah, there's been a couple adaptations for this book.
Yeah.
Most recently with DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire,
Yeah.
and I don't think I've seen that movie. I saw the older one, like the '80s one, and that one was really cool.
Oh.
I like the story.
Yeah, it was a pretty good story. I did watch the DiCaprio one. It was pretty good. It was nice to see like their adaptation of, I think it was like the 60s or 70s, of how everything looked. The set was really nice. Yeah.
Is it, I may be wrong, but is this like an alternate reality of that time, of like the '50s or
I don't.
'40s? It might have been '40s.
Uh, yeah, I don't remember if it was alternate reality.
Gotta reread that book.
Yeah.
Or just watch the movie.
Yeah.
The Green Mile. Now that's a good movie. That's a really good movie.
I know the 8 Mile. I don't know the Green Mile.
The Green Mile. So I'm sure everyone has heard of somewhat of this story. It takes place in a prison, and they execute with the electric chair.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. I threw a little trivia on this one just because I found out after watching it that it's a Stephen King book novel, and it's directed by Frank Darabont, which also directed a few more adaptations
Okay.
of Stephen King books. One being The Shawshank Redemption,
I remember that movie.
and the other one being The Mist,
I also remember that movie.
with really good actors on there too.
Yeah.
He Frank Darabont is actually he actually likes taking pieces of work and adapting them onto screen. He actually did the first 3 seasons of The Walking Dead.
Oh, so the ones that were acceptable.
The ones that were actually good. Yeah, so that whole first season 1 is really like heavy on Frank Darabont, and then he slowly became like producer, and then exited the Walking Dead. A lot of actors from his Stephen King movies actually transferred to The Walking Dead. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
But yeah, The Green Mile, fantastic film. If you guys never seen that movie, I definitely recommend that one. That's probably my favorite from this whole questions,
Right.
other than Ready Player One. But last but not least, let's talk about the big fish in the pond, Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a big one. That is a big one.
He so the person said Harry Potter and the Half Blood Prince.
Specifically.
Specifically?
No,
We're not saying that joke. We're not saying that joke.
it doesn't make sense. It's
People
an
are going to
inside
get
joke.
triggered.
Yeah, it's an inside joke.
uh, um, yeah, specifically Half Blood Prince. I gotta. I don't see why.
All right. That's it. Yeah,
I
that's
like, in my opinion, I like. I like Goblet of Fire.
yeah,
Fourth movie and fourth book.
yeah.
Harry Potter is really really fun.
Yeah, it is.
The Half Blood Prince, though, I gotta say, I don't remember the whole movie
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
I just remember the ending. What, like the last 20 minutes? I think are probably the most darkest
yeah.
of any Harry Potter
Ever.
movie / book.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, I don't remember too much about this. I don't even think I remember watching the sixth movie. I think I skipped over that and then went back to it.
and watch what, part 1 and part 2 of Deathly Hollows.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember.
That's a good question. Do you prefer them splitting movies into? I mean, splitting books into multiple movies, like what The Hobbit did and what Harry Potter and the Deathly Hollows did,
Yeah.
and I think even Twilight did it, and also Hunger Games did it
Yeah.
with splitting the last part into 2 movies.
Yeah. For the seventh book, yeah, because there was so much material to cover.
Okay,
I think even
so you
part one was like what? It's like 120 minutes long or some shit like that.
yeah. Do you? So you don't think it was a cash grab or anything?
No,
You think it was necessary?
yeah, it's one of those things where I don't really like the Harry Potter adaptations. I'd criticize a lot on it for a lot of things, but even then, I don't think it was a cash grab because there's just like a lot of material. So that's.
Do you think The Hobbit was a cash grab by any chance?
No, because even that
3 movies
also,
was perfect.
yeah, there's a lot of criticize in my opinion about The Hobbit as well, but even then, there was a lot of material in The Hobbit to cover.
Okay. Well, do you have a favorite adaptation?
It used to be Harry Potter, but it went over to Lord of the Rings, and I do have a lot to say about Harry Potter. It could be like a whole fucking thing.
A whole other episode.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like the video game curse. Like my stance on how video games they're adapted and it may not like portray what the fans wanted to portray. It's the same exact thing for book to movies. It's the adaptation is the interpretation of the director for Harry Potter, and even in the directors even. Oh, I can't remember the name of the director, but he pretty much said that his favorite character was Hermione Granger. Even though a lot of people like J.K. Rowling expected him to say Ron, and it kind of shows because all the iconic like, because it's in the Harry Potter community. I think there's like a lot of people who shit on Ron because he's so like the comedic relief character,
Right.
or the sidekick character. So he is seen as like this goofball, which he is in the books. But they're like, but in the books he's a little bit more well rounded. He's not just a goofball, or
Gotcha.
he's not like an asshole or anything like that. Like in Prisoner of Azkaban, like there was like a line where in the book he says, if you want to kill Harry, you're gonna have to kill us too. Which is like, obviously it's a great, like, he really sees Harry in that sort of light where he would stop Sirius Black in any means necessary. But they gave that line to Hermione Granger instead.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where I can see how like the director does like Hermione Granger better.
Right.
Or like I'm not shitting on Hermione Granger. She's a very good character, but I feel like they kind of didn't really give Ron a very deserving light.
Right. Yeah.
And even in part 1, he I think a lot of people, like, I stopped liking Harry Potter the movies after part 1 happened, where he pretty much said like Harry like, okay, Harry and Ron were having that fight, right, in the tent. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
In the book, Ron was like really like fearful for his family because his family's like the blood traders and they're like being watched, and he's scared that they might get killed. And Harry said he said something like, my parents are dead, and Ron said, well, mines are about to die as well, or something along the lines of that. And it shows like Ron really cares for his family to the point where he wants to go see them even though he can't because he's supposed to be in school.
Yeah.
Or not in school, he's supposed to be sick. In the movie, he says to Harry, his best friend, he says, your parents are dead. You have no family. It's like, why would you say that to your best friend? Right?
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing to say.
Right.
It like portrays him as like, I don't know, like as if he's obviously he's like kind of, his mind's manipulated by the Horcrux, but God, that's such a shitty statement to your best friend to say.
But at the same time, it was most likely the what was it in the movie? Was it the necklace?
Yeah.
It was that talking right through Ron, or bringing out his anger. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
But even then, I think the book, what the book was portraying was a lot better than what the movie's portraying, and I think that's why most people don't like Ron, is because he's just like, in that moment he was really selfish, kind of, and there was like a better way of portraying that selfishness than telling an orphan that he has no family. An orphan that's your best friend. That so boggles my mind. I don't know.
So I just remembered a couple breaking news from Paramount, because Paramount is also doing their streaming service.
Oh yeah.
And they announced that Rugrats, a new Rugrats animation show, is going to be on there. They're bringing it back with a 3D style animation.
Okay.
Seems like the voices are there, the writing, the story is there.
Yeah.
It's just the animation is going to be different. I mean, you have to. You can't
Yeah.
you can't continue what the Rugrats were doing in the '90s, like with their
Right.
animation. So I don't know. I'm up for it, but they also announced a TV show,
Yes.
and I think they listened to us, Quan.
What did they say? Wait, what? If
They
you're watching
are
this on
making a
yeah,
they're making a Halo show
damn.
on Paramount streaming service. So thank you, Paramount, for listening to us.
Are they listening to us? Is it just coincidence, or do I need to wear a tinfoil hat again? Ah.
But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. For my favorites, um, I there's it's gonna be TV shows. I think TV shows right now are rocking it with book adaptations, and it seems
Okay.
like that's what majority of books are gonna go do instead of movies. Depending on the book. Um, One of them is The Strain, which
Okay.
was a TV show between 2014 and 2017, 4 seasons, and it's adapted from uh same title, The Strain, directed written by Guillermo del Toro, and
Okay.
also directed by Guillermo del Toro,
Oh.
and written for the screen and whatnot. And just getting into it, and it's probably one of my favorite things right now on when it comes to being on the screen. Uh, Watched the first 4 episodes so far, and I'm totally hooked. So
Nice.
30 something more episodes to go. So I'll keep
Yeah.
you guys updated on that. But my
Nice.
second one is this book called Mexican Gothic,
Oh.
and it is directed by Silvia Moreno Garcia.
Nice.
And it actually it's a ghost story,
Okay.
and I want to say a couple months ago it was announced that Hulu was going to make a mini series for this book, and his book just came out maybe like last year as well.
Okay.
So the book is fantastic, and I think Hulu is going to do a really good job with it.
Yeah, I wish.
So when that's out, we'll talk. We're gonna have to talk about it on this on this podcast because I'm excited.
And
Uh,
obviously, you said ghost story, so it's a horror style TV show, unless it's not so much horror as it is another genre. Maybe.
it's pretty much horror thriller.
Okay.
It has like that gothic sense
Yeah.
where it's not it's creepy.
Right.
Majority of this book that I've read it's just creepy. It's not scary or anything. It's just pretty creepy.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really good. I'm looking forward to it. Um, but talking about all these educational books,
Educational.
I think we should start a book club.
That does sound like a plan. Yeah.
A book club with books that have been or will be adapted to the screen.
A
And
small book club, like another
a small
series.
book club. Let's try that out.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
We'll keep you guys updated on our Instagram on that and
All right.
see how many people are actually into reading books and watching adaptations of books, because I mean during this pandemic I think we should be doing
Yeah. A lot of reading.
something like that
Yeah.
with reading books, watching movies. Don't melt your brains watching movies either.
Yeah. Gotta have
So
a nice
yeah,
mixture of both. But that actually sounds like a pretty good plan. It's
so let's do something. Let's help out our listeners
yeah,
and give them
book recommendations.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do something like that. We're nice guys.
Well, no. We're okay people. We're we're just guys. We're okay. But yeah, I think a book club is a good thing.
Did you have something to announce?
Well, I was so he was talking. Gaspar was talking about a book club, which helps with like reading and thinking and keeping your eyes off the screen. And I went a different route and decided, hey, maybe at some point we should do some gaming stuff as well.
Which I've tried and failed.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to play video games recently, so yeah, I'm up for that. Gotta get back into that.
Yeah, I kind of figured out how OBS was working and with the webcam and everything, so I feel like I'm kind of confident to record video like game compilations or game things. But I might have that in the works. Hopefully soon
Yeah.
I'll fucking actually try to at least post something. I don't know. Maybe I'll have because we do have our own channels right here and over there, and maybe I'll post something right here. If you're on YouTube, I'm pointing at the screen. I don't know. I'll think of something.
And if you're not listening on YouTube, you're listening to a crazy guy.
Yeah. What is it? Pointing what screen?
The funny thing is, if the listener's like pointing and then they look one way and then they look the other, like, what is he pointing at? Driving in your car, listening to our podcast. Oh, look over there.
What?
He just ended up crashing.
Oh God! I told you I'm not a good person. I will never be a good.
But yeah, this episode was fun. You know, we got some books out there that if you guys haven't read, I recommend reading them. All the ones that were, you know, posted on our Instagram, those are really good books and films, in my opinion. So I'm glad we got listeners that have kind of the same taste as us. So
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty cool. But with that being said, I think we should continue this on next week's episode.
Continue books.
The Film Crew podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I think we're done for this one.
Yeah. All right.
So, yeah. Like you said, find us all around here.
If
or down there.
Watching this on YouTube. Right
and if you're not, you can find us on Instagram at FilmCrew7.
Correct.
And, you know, if not, look us up on YouTube when you get home and you're safe, not driving anywhere.
Yep.
And you can also see a couple of our videos that we made, I think like last month.
Yeah.
Or a couple skits that we have on there.
Yeah.
So, once again, I'm Gaspar.
And I'm Quan.
And we're Film Crew. And we'll see you guys here next week.
All right. We also don't have an outro either. We'll probably have one soon.